This is Philmont Scout Ranch, 240 square miles of rugged wilderness mountain terrain. Every year, thousands of Boy Scouts hike these trails and test their outdoor skills and physical endurance. During the first half of August 1989, 7 Boy Scouts from Melrose Troop 68 took part on a 68-mile trek at Philmont. Jerry Lensman, Joshua Spoden, Tony Beard, John Rosner, Chad Rowe, Ross Frericks, and Dave Strong, along with adult leaders Jerry Lensman and Steve Borini, left the Minneapolis airport on August 1st and hightailed it to Denver. After a short layover in Denver, we boarded the plane that would take us to Pueblo. Of course, it was first-class accommodations all the way. After hours spent traveling on Greyhound and a school bus, we arrived at Philmont's tent city, from which we could see Philmont's most famous landmark, the Tooth of Time. The staff of Philmont were great. It was seldom that a person would catch them laying down on the job. Before each meal, the Rangers would perform some song or stunt. Here, they tried the notorious truss fall. Lunchtime. Philmont's cafeteria food was nutritious and edible.
Almost.
That afternoon was time for the shakedown. Our ranger checked our equipment that we were to bring along on the trail.
It was time to leave. We boarded a bus at Tin City and were whisked away to Zastrow, our drop-off point. Day 1 on the trail. Before leaving Zastrow, we checked the map to see where we should be heading. And then we were off toward our first campsite, which was Riedo River Camp, a 1/2-mile trip. At camp, our rangers demonstrated how to set up a Philmont pup tent. A nearby stream provided cooling relief on our feet, and some entertainment for a couple of hours. It's our second day on the trail. After a quick chat with one of the natives, we arrived at Abreu Camp to try our hand at adobe brick making. Clay, sand, water, and straw were thoroughly mixed together. The forms were cleaned and wetted down. Then the mixture was packed in the forms and left in the hot sun to dry. The leftover clay mixture was used to build the camp's cantina. Water is precious at Philmont, so cleanup became a time to practice water conservation. It's time to move on. Today's trip takes us 3.5 miles to Aguila Camp. Shortly after arriving at Aguila, we had our first experience with the co-pilot latrines. The view from camp was breathtaking, as was our blue stew. Heck, who needs green eggs and ham? It's the third day on the trail. Time to pack up and move out. Today is a 5-mile hike to Miners Park Camp. Miners Park is well known for its rope challenges. Whether working as a team or trying an individual challenge, all the scouts found the course to be fun and exciting.
Day 4 on the trail. This morning we will be stopping by Schaefer's Pass on our way to climbing the Tooth of Time. On the way we passed by Grizzly Tooth, sister of the Tooth of Time. Once we arrived at the pass, we dropped off our packs and began to climb the peak. The climb would take us from an elevation of 8,787 feet to 9,003 feet within a hike of just 3 miles. The view the crew was treated to when they reached Schaefer's Peak was quite spectacular. But they were nothing compared to the view received from the top of the Tooth of Time. Back at the pass, we shouldered our packs, and after checking which direction we should take, we hit the trails again. Today's trail would take us to Clark's Fort Camp, where a chuck wagon dinner awaited us. The Fork staff provided some rip-tootin' entertainment in the form of a campfire before we hit the hay. It's the morning of the 5th day on the trail. Time to dry some horseback ready. Time to mount our swift steeds and ride on out onto Philmont Plains. Today is a 5-mile hike to Ute Springs, our next camp. But first the Philmont command had to be asked.
Is anyone not ready to go?
If everyone was set, we moved onward. A rest stop at Window Rock provided us with some more breathtaking scenery.
We almost had camps set up at Ute Springs before the rain began. And when it rained, it poured. Instead of letting the afternoon become a cold and miserable one, we had fun trying our skills at starting a fire in the rain. The morning sun creeped through the trees to awaken us on our 6th day of the trek. Every crew that goes through Philmont must do 3 hours of conservation work. Usually, this work involves maintaining the current trails, or creating new ones to keep the human impact to a minimum.